This question appeared on a video about how to find web elements in Selenium. What Jason wanted to know was how to choose the parent element of a child, and he already has some sample code in here, which is almost correct actually. It just needs a couple of small tweaks to get this to work. To demonstrate the technique, I'm going to use a site called the Internet and the Large and Deep DOM page on there. We'll begin by getting a reference to what we'll consider our child element. So we'll get a reference to this specific element with the text 3.2, and then we'll work out how to refer to its parent and maybe even the grandparent and great-grandparent elements from there as well. To get started, I've set up a blank Excel workbook with a bit of code stored in there already. So I've written some simple code to fire up a new instance of Google Chrome and then navigate to that URL. First, we'll get a reference to the child element. So let's head back to Google Chrome and then right-click on that element 3.2 and choose to inspect it to see how we could identify it. So conveniently, this particular element has got an ID, sibling 3.2. So I'm just going to double-click on that and then copy that to the clipboard. And then head back to the Visual Basic Editor. I'll declare a variable at the top of this subroutine to hold that child element. I'll call it ch as a selenium.webElement. And then after navigating to that URL, we'll say set ch equals cd.findElementById. And then in some round brackets and some double quotes, just paste in that ID that I've just copied. I'll close the double quotes and then close the round brackets. And then just to demonstrate that it's working, let's debug.print ch. We'll go for tag name perhaps, and then ch.attribute, and let's print out the ID attribute. We should know what that is, of course. It's the one that we've just used to get a reference to that element. But just to demonstrate that that part's working so far, let's run that subroutine. We should get a new instance of Chrome, navigating to that page, and then, not very excitingly, we'll get the tag name and ID attribute of that element printed to the immediate window. Next, we can get a reference to the parent element of this child. And just so that we know what to expect when we do that, let's head back to the open version of Chrome and find out what the parent element of 3.2 actually is. So if we head over back to the list of elements on the right-hand side and trace our way upwards from there, we'll see that the immediate container for this one, the parent of this element, is another div with an ID of sibling 3.1. So as it turns out, we already have a really convenient way to reference the parent element of sibling 3.2 because its parent has a unique ID as well. Just for the sake of demonstration, we'll pretend that that ID doesn't exist, so we don't have a really convenient way to reference that element initially. It's worth mentioning that each element can only have one parent, but can have multiple children. So the sibling 3.1 element is the parent for the one we've already referenced, sibling 3.2, but it also has two other children, sibling 3.3 and sibling 4.1 as well. Anyway, to get a reference to the parent of sibling 3.2, let's head back to the Visual Basic Editor, and I'm going to declare another variable, let's say dim pa, short for parent, as selenium.webElement. And then, after we've printed out the details of our child element, we're going to say set pa equals, and then we're going to refer to the child element as our context node, so our initial starting point for the next search. We'll enter a full stop, and then we're going to find element by XPath. So this is the most convenient way, or in fact the only way I know of, to refer to a parent element of a child element using an XPath option. So if we open some round brackets and then in some double quotes, we're going to refer to the parent axis and then two colon characters followed by the word node, and then open close round brackets, close the double quotes, and then close the round brackets again. So this is using the full complete syntax to refer to the parent node, so the unabbreviated syntax. Having done that, I'm just going to copy and paste my debug.print statement and then replace ch with pa, and then clear the contents of the immediate window, and then run that subroutine again and find, once it's finished, that we should now have two items printed into the immediate window, the div tag of the child and the div tag of the parent. Now, as well as using this full unabbreviated syntax to reference the parent node, XPath also provides a shorthand version of this, or an abbreviated syntax. So we could replace parent : node and the open and close brackets with 2 full stop characters, which, as I'm sure you'll agree, is a lot easier to type in, although a little less obvious, I think, to somebody else reading your code what that's designed to do. Anyway, the end result will be the same. If I clear the contents of the immediate window and then run that subroutine, we'll find that we end up with the parent element of our child sibling 3.2. XPath selectors also allow you to provide a number of steps to find an element. So for example, from the parent element of our child, we could add another step to search for other elements from that point onwards. This kind of brings me back to Jason's original question. So the sample code that's provided there's a full stop followed by a / and another couple of full stops. So we know the double full stop refers to the parent element, but the single full stop there refers to the current context element. So it's a little redundant actually. If I type in a full stop and a /, that's just saying from the current context element, find the parent element. So that's just exactly the same as saying just the 2 full stops, find the parent element. But just to demonstrate how that works, if I just get rid of the immediate window, or the contents of the immediate window I should say, and then run that subroutine again, we will once again end up with the child and parent that we've already seen. So while that's not particularly useful, what could be useful instead is if we wanted to find the parent of the parent. So rather than having a single full stop there, we could type in 2 full stops to find the parent of the current context element, and then add another step with the / character and search for the parent of that element. So rather than showing the parent element now, our code is going to show the grandparent element. And again, just to make sure we're happy with what we're about to see here, if we head back to the open version of that web page, so we found sibling 3.2 is our child, sibling 3.1 is the parent, and if we go upwards again from 3.1, we'll find that the next parent, the grandparent of 3.2, is sibling 2.1. So if we run that subroutine again, we should find now, this time, that we get 3.2 and 2.1 as our elements. As you may well have guessed, you can indeed add yet another step to find the great-grandparent and great-great-grandparent and so on, just by adding another / character and another couple of full stops. So once again, if I just clear the contents of the immediate window and run that subroutine, we'll get our original child and now the great-grandparent element of that child. There are many, many more things we can do with XPath selectors. It's an entire language in and of itself, so I think that's probably enough to answer the original question that Jason asked. But just in case you are interested in finding out more about XPath, I'd recommend looking at the XPath language specification. I'll drop a link in the video description so you can find this a little more easily. But the path expressions section covers everything we've talked about in this video here, plus lots and lots more besides. So you'll find some exciting, interesting things you can do with XPath selectors in there. So hope that answers the original question. If not, feel free to ask another one. I'll do my best to answer it. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.